Mr. Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. With the risk, let me see how gentle I can be. I think we've missed the target here, as we discussed in this very meaningful and worthwhile hearing, attacking Hezbollah's financial network. Tangentially, certainly we've discussed Iran, but I've got a rather convoluted line chart here that I've done that shows Iran giving what's estimated to be, depending upon your source, open source, $60 to $200 million a year to Hezbollah. The IRGC controlling the entire black economy in Iran and large portions of the above ground economy in Iran. And just on the black economy side, controlling revenue between 25 and $50 billion a year, and them supporting Iran. We've got drug ops in Lebanon supporting Hezbollah, but the drug ops in Lebanon really took off after the Syrian civil war escalated, creating a vacuum. And when the LAF stopped patrolling the fields and the areas in the Bekaa Valley, we saw a skyrocketing in production of drugs. So that was caused largely by Iran, who now has co-opted the LAF to the point now where I recently read an article that said, quote, the distinction between Hezbollah and the Lebanese state is meaningless. In fact, the Lebanese president is a Hezbollah ally, and the Lebanese were the only nation not to sign the resolution condemning the attacks on the Saudi consulate and embassy in Iran. And so what we see here is we're talking about Hezbollah, but that's a branch on a tree. The tree should be called Iran. The roots of the tree should be called the IRGC. And if you want to solve the long-term problem, we need to take on the IRGC. One of these gentlemen, and I apologize because I was copiously taking notes, so I don't know which of you it was, said we need to hold up to the agreement of the JCPOA, which I not jokingly refer to as the JCPOS. You can figure that one out, which means enforcing ballistic missile sanctions. And I quote, hold up to the agreements of the JCPOA, which means enforcing ballistic missile sanctions. I wish, and I don't know how to do this because I'm new here, that I could have read into the record an article from, of all places, NPR, which points out that the JCPOA is so tragically flawed that the lawyers that wrote it should be disbarred. Let me read to you from the UN Security Council Resolution 1929, which requires, quote, Iran shall not undertake any activity related to ballistic missiles. Fast forward to the JCPOA, if anybody knows this, nod along with me, which reads, Iran is called upon not to undertake any activity regarding ballistic missiles. I'm not that good a lawyer, but I know the difference between shall not and called upon not to. And so we either intentionally send really bad lawyers to negotiate a deal that puts Iran on a glide path not only to destroy sanctity and peace and stability in the region, we either intentionally did that or we hired the worst possible negotiators who don't know the difference between may and shall, which you learn as a first-year law student. No enmity intended towards anyone in this room, and particularly not the lady and gentleman on the committee. I had to look, Dr. Garland, to make sure. Would you not agree that the root of the problem with Hezbollah is Iran, and that the root of the problem in Iran is the IRGC, and that the root of the IRGC is Quds, if I want to walk this dog farther down the trail? I mean, if we really want to attack the source of this, do we not look to the IRGC and returning peace and stability and functionality to Iran, whose people want it, but whose people can't have it when the Quds forces are willing to shoot student protesters in the head, right, with impunity, and the United States does nothing? I apologize. I pride myself not on doing soliloquies and diatribes in these things, but I'm frustrated because I think we're mistargeting. With any one of you, gentlemen or lady, is the root of the Hezbollah problem not Iran?
Absolutely.
And is the root of the Iran problem?
The IRGC, of course. And I worked to build the plan and sent down. We went after the Iranians from various levels, for various things that they did, including the IRGC, which unfortunately much of that was abandoned as we got closer to the JCPOA. Whether you advocate a regime change or not, we don't accept the regime and its activities, and there's no way to divorce the IRGC from the Iranian economy and from the Lebanese state, in effect.
I'm a big fan of peace and stability, and I advocate loud and vociferously on behalf of regime change. I don't think it needs to be done at the point of a gun. But I do think that we created circumstances in the JCPOA, and we've not pursued our allies, particularly in Europe, who do business with the IRGC, and we can do this with open sources documented, to make them pick who they want to do business with. Yes, sir.
Let me just put some meat on this bone. For example,
the Financial Action Task Force gave Iran a year that ends this month to improve its behaviors on money laundering, terror finance. Among the many things it's supposed to do are some very technical things, some very broad things. One of the things Iran has said it will not do is delete the cutout that it has for anything it describes as a resistance organization, i.e. Hezbollah. And it doesn't appear they're going to change that. That's this month, and we need to make sure that the administration makes its position very, very clear. This is unacceptable for us, because you will probably not get Iran off the FATF blacklist call for special measures right now, but you'll probably get them a little bit of an extension to see if they can do more.
Mr. Chairman, I'm over time. I want to say, in conclusion, we can have a regime change if we will strictly enforce sanctions. We've never been willing to do that. Hopefully this administration will change that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett. We go now to